Hi, my name is Steve Robleski, and we're here at Lambda Archives in San Diego with the Oral History Project, interviewing Andy Canavan from the North Park Senior Housing Project. Greetings, Andy. Welcome to our project, and I'd like you to introduce yourself to the viewers for this interview, and tell us a little bit about yourself in San Diego and the North Park Senior Housing.
Hi, thanks for having me here. I'm excited to share my story and how I got to San Diego.
Yeah.
And when I learned about the openings at North Park Seniors, I wasn't quite sure whether I was ready for apartment living, because I've always lived in either a single family house or no more than a fourplex. So I was a little hesitant about North Park, but I knew what a good deal it was, and I convinced myself that if I was offered the opportunity, I would treat it like we were a brand new school and we were the freshman class and we got to influence the culture.
Yes.
So that got me to wanting to move 51%, which is what I needed instead of the 49%. I wanted to stay where I was. So that's how I came to be in North Park. I got a late invitation after the initial bunch. So I was not expecting an email in December.
Were you connected in any way with the center or with any group that was doing advocacy?
Not prior to. I had helped with Pride a couple of summers in terms of helping out with recycling and sustainability efforts. So I've been connected with the Pride Parade and March, but to the center, no, not directly.
So when you were alerted to the senior housing project, then you were put on to a waiting list, or tell me a little bit about the project prospects.
I have a software development background, and testing is part of what we would do to get a website up and ready to go. And we ran a couple of games back in the mid-90s when the web was first coming about. So I knew all about trying to get in the door of a website when it opened up something. For us, it was games to play and prizes to win. For the North Park Seniors, 9 o'clock, whatever morning that was, when they opened the doors to take in names, to put your name in the hat to be considered. I got in ahead of time, saw what was coming, and practiced, which was fastest. The typing, direct typing into the form, or cutting and pasting. Because I was thinking, and this is a very funny story, I was thinking in terms of nanoseconds for getting my name in. Turns out I met a guy who didn't put his name in the hat until a week after I did. So I'm practicing days in advance to get it in as fast as I can possibly get it. Silly kid.
It was worthwhile to be prepared.
I like
because you didn't know what the consequences would have been anyway.
Right,
so.
And it was like 6 questions, 8 questions tops. Nothing you had to look up. Mm-hmm. It was just basic information. So I'm glad I can laugh at myself when I get a little carried away with quality efforts and.
It's your background, your technical background.
Right. So
that sounds good.
And then I came to be the co-chair of the Residents Advisory Committee, and I got some ideas on living in community because long ago and far away, I worked at Lotus Development Corporation, and after 6 or 8 years working there, I got 6 months severance pay. So I packed up the car and the dog and visited lesbian land communities for 2.5 years. So I had an idea of what living in community looked like. So that's what I wanted to bring to North Park Seniors. And guess what? Not everybody went on that same journey of 2.5 years. And everybody's got a different idea, which is how it should be.
How do you, once you've gotten there, now it must have been very exciting to get the notice that you were accepted.
It was exciting is one word for it, a little unnerving.
Yeah.
I lived in my apartment for 10 years, and It was larger than the one I was moving into, so my friends were very supportive of downsizing, downsizing, downsizing.
That is a continuous theme of all the residents.
Funny how that works.
At the project.
So one of the things that I would like to do is, if I have extra supplies, I would like to be able to use like my storage closet in the hall as a place where if anybody needed what I was offering, it was a unlocked door, and we could exchange free stuff
It's
discreetly.
part
It's
of what a community does.
Yeah,
the
so
sharing of
I have
resources.
I have a little work to do with the crowds there
Uh-huh.
to implement some of my ideas.
How would
So fire drills,
Yeah.
finding buddies. You know, it's like we're community kids. Some of us are single.
Oh yes.
How do we
It's-
help out each other, watch out each other?
It's very important. I've been reading articles about the issue of housing in the gay community and how we have to be supportive for each other, because there's a lot of people living by themselves, and a lot of those people are still in their homes as well. So how do we take care of each other?
I do think we have to change the whole model of senior living. I can see
Tell me a little bit about that.
I can see building houses with 6, 8, 10 bedrooms. It's like, come on, people, we have to do the sharing economy. It's coming on with cars and bikes and Airbnb, sharing homes. It's like we have to be more conscious of the Earth's resources and the fact that there's whatever percentage of the wealthy people have the biggest percentage of wealth, and we have to come up with a different system because this is not sustainable.
Now, do you have conversations with with the seniors in the housing project?
With some of them, I'm also doing some research. North Park Seniors, I think, is the seventh senior LGBTQ friendly affordable housing in the country, and I'm trying to find the first 6 to find out what they have done already that maybe we could copy. Because if they're doing something that works, that would be a cool thing. And if they found out what doesn't work, if they could share that lesson, we could save that pain. I'm a firm believer in do more of what works, less of what doesn't, and try something different. So if we can learn from the 6 communities that came ahead of us, and if we can influence the ones that come behind us to learn the lessons that we tripped on because we were making it up, that would be cool.
What a wonderful goal. I mean,
The cool thing is, because of my tech background, it's how I think, and if it's not repeatable and reusable, why do it?
yeah. Especially when you're looking at quality, the control that you did
Right.
back at Lotus.
Right.
So it's consistent with your life work.
It is, and my last partner was an amazing woman who was one of the few people who was a massage therapist in the Castro when AIDS struck. So she was one of the few people who would touch a person. And she's a very spiritual Catholic woman who has been there for more than 1,000 people as they made their exits. So it was an incredible experience to become involved with her as we started the Good Death Institute. It's like 100% market saturation. We're all gonna die. We might as well have a good one. So I learned a lot about that shifting attitudes and reframing things.
Tell me, when you're at the housing now, does it feel like how long have you been there now?
I moved February 2nd.
So
Groundhog's Day.
Yeah.
Intentionally.
So within the past 8 or 10 months, then do you?
I've
feel
actually
that,
moved within the complex.
Oh, really?
I think I'm the first one to move within the complex. I was on 405, which is the El Cajon, overlooking the McDonald's drive-through,
Yeah.
overlooking and smelling and everything else.
Tempting smells that come from McDonald's.
And it was pretty far away from the elevator. And I have a service dog, Gracie, who's a golden retriever, who just turned 4. And schlepping from the garage upstairs to the 4th floor and 3/4 of the way around. It was a long haul. And so when a 2nd floor apartment near the elevator came open, I was blessed to get a note from my neurologist saying it would benefit me.
You know, public accommodation is so important. You know, just to get into a housing complex is one, major accomplishment, but then to make sure you have the right place within that housing project is another very important
And just learning
issue.
about the ADA and how all of that stuff works in public housing is brand new for me.
Yeah, yeah. And so many of those things need to be implemented in the senior housing. But I was going to ask, have you seen a development of community since you've been there?
Yes, it's been fun to see we're about to have a Christmas party thrown on by Terry Vaughan, one of our founding fathers in terms of activists. He was a speaker at the opening ceremonies in April. He represented us well at a city hall meeting, advocating for public housing. He's a go-getter, and it's been fun getting to know him and other folks
Wonderful.
who've been activists.
We've interviewed him for this project.
Yes, and I'm getting to know Jerry as the first female of the center to be executive director of it. I was like, you go, girl. So that's kind of fun getting to know her and her battles with the service,
Yes.
and still fighting through and
Yeah.
having some wins.
So you're getting to know some of the other residents, and I bet you're going to find a lot of like spirits, like yourself. You know, people who have been activists in the past and know the value of community.
Right, and I've learned to pick and choose battles a little bit better than we did in our younger days, I hope.
Yeah. Yes, I did have a flashback, just as you said. Some of the things that were important 20 years ago are not so important anymore.
Right.
We can let go of some of those things.
Uh-huh.
Tell me a little bit more about the connection between the housing project and the center. Is there a connection with the gay community that you feel that's happening within the project?
It is, especially for the people who make themselves available of all the resources that are offered, because they do offer a lot, but some of us already have kind of pretty full lives, and trying to squeeze some of these things in is very beneficial when we can do it, and frustrating when we can't. So I know that for some, it's an opportunity to go work at the center and use their computers. Which is a good thing, but some people don't have the energy after a full day and trying to arrange to get a ride there and back, and it's like, let's see what we can do. I do believe that there are resources out there that will donate lots of things that we might need. So one of our advocacy projects is to get computers in the hands of anybody who wants them. And if they want training, that's one of my personal goals. I had my first success.
Tell us about it.
A friend asked me to help her get her computer set up, and it was an e-machine from a decade or more back that I'd never tried before. The keyboard didn't work. I found one of my old ones and tried it, and it worked. We finally got the password to get on the network, and that the NPS, North Park Seniors, offers. And lo and behold, she's now on her computer and is a happy camper.
That is a success story.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's fun. And I'm going to get the word out that anybody else who wants it, because I do believe the people are out there to provide old, used equipment that they don't need anymore.
Sure.
And maybe I can recruit do some intergenerational work and have the kids come teach us. I am hot to trot on assistive technologies.
I think that's a wonderful idea, involving an intergenerational picture to evolve within the senior project.
Absolutely. I've been trying to recruit, I've actively been recruiting young techies to come teach us, especially me, because I can turn around and teach folks. So
Sure.
Android has finally come out with Bixby, which is the equivalent of Siri on a Mac. So now I can do what Siri people can do. So as a person with Parkinson's, I want to be able to do everything I can, both verbally and non-verbally, for as long as I can, because I don't know which one's going to go first. So I have to practice both. And if I have to do it, my dog has to do it. So when I train her, she has to know how to do whatever the command is, whether I speak it or sign it for her.
It sounds like you've become involved and you are bringing your past values with you into this situation.
You're
What
a
kind
good
of
listener.
future do you want to kind of evolve at the
I
senior
am
housing?
trying to create a whole series of reusable tools that will benefit anybody who might be aging. I don't know if there's anybody out there that might be aging, but if I have to go through this stuff, I want to make it easier for other people. So I'm based on the influence of my ex-lover who started the Good Death Institute. One of the tool sets that I want to create with help from my friends here in San Diego and across the country is to create a series of tools called When Is It Time? And I added criteria established to make it a full phrase that's quotable, that you can say, do you have your wits about you? WIITCE. When is it time? Criteria established. When is it time to stop driving at night? When is it time to stop driving on the highway? When is it time to ask for a driver, arrange for a driver, and only be a passenger? So there's very many variations we could each choose to go down, and I personally would like to make all the decisions myself. But I don't know that I get to do that, so I might as well set it up so that my family and friends know what I want.
You know, it's interesting that you hit on the driving issue, because that has come up many times in interviews with seniors, where they are taking care of their elderly parents,
Right.
and the 90-year-old
My-
mother is still driving, and it's a family crisis. How do we get her to
Yes.
not take the car? And
My 59-year-old brother in New Jersey just took the keys away from my 92-year-old mother. So yes, I am familiar with the phenomenon and why I think each of us would be in better shape if we would take responsibility for making the decisions ourselves.
Yes.
And if we give you the tools, so phase one will be 5 of us filling out the same form, and each one of us adds a little that we thought of that wasn't there. And if we keep adding, it's a virtuous cycle of improvement.
Yeah, because that sounds wonderful. I mean, I even reading the AARP magazine, people always write in about, I'm in a crisis. Mother's still driving, 94 accidents. Oh my goodness, what do I do? And it seems like there's nothing in place to help people answer that question. And there probably are, but we don't know the resources.
So one of the things I've learned since I got to San Diego and started doing some research about this criteria of when is the time to stop driving is there's a driving simulation at San Diego State, which 3 years ago we had permission to go in and be tested for our driving as part of a rock steady boxing program, which is particularly targeted to people with Parkinson's. So we were going to figure out how to get in and get all the people in the clinical trial in to have their driving tested to see the impact of taking the rock steady boxing class on their reaction times and other things.
Yeah, so important.
Yes.
And the other thing that has come up in terms of seniors looking at different resources is directives and end-of-life kind of issues.
Absolutely.
That is very difficult for a lot of people to face, and it's so important at the same time.
It is, which is why I want to create all these reusable tools that are really easy, and it's just like, no guys, you just have to answer the questions and you're done. Because I know how hard it is.
Because you feel that you're giving up some of your independence and you're looking at your own mortality, and some people have put that off for a while, haven't they?
Yeah, having lost 2 siblings in their 40s. One was my brother John, who was HIV positive for a very long time and finally succumbed in November of 96, June of 96. And 5 months later, in November of 96, my sister died suddenly
What a loss.
from lethal combination of sleep apnea and drugs. So I'm very sensitive to us having to clean up after them. And oh my God, I didn't want anybody finding that stuff of mine. Nothing like incentive there.
Before we complete this part of the interview, is there anything that you'd like to say that you haven't said up to this point about your experience or about the project itself?
I'm sure that there's lots more good coming from all the new people that both moved in of late and the people that have been there for a while, that the merger's going to happen and the community is forming, and it's all good. We watch each other's backs and help each other out.
Andy, thank you so much for this.
You're welcome.
I feel like
Been
we've
fun.
gotten a really good background on the housing and your participation in it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hey, Ken? I think we've come to a nice ending.